Yep. Okay, great. So there's not too many of us tonight, so we can have a good dialogue about these products. So feel free to ask any questions that come up, okay? And I would appreciate it if you mute and let's just let my dog be the one that interrupts and annoys us tonight rather than everybody else's. So, like I said, I actually taught this class before, Bye Bye Body Pain, and we were talking about some of the great products that we have in our product catalog. But then we had convention, and I thought it would be best to go ahead and redo the presentation and slip in some of our new products. So here's what this is going to look like tonight. I got all this stuff down here. Let's see. Yeah, so this is our agenda. We're going to talk about different types of pain, both acute and chronic, and why we should be using natural remedies. And I have 4 hacks for you, including a foundational wellness upgrade, a slow carb diet, nutrient-rich hydration, and microbiome balance. And then I have a bonus for you, and we're going to be talking about essential oils as a topical application to ease aches and discomforts quickly. So I'd like you to take a moment, if you could, and just assess and address your pain. I want you to think about what hurts you. Maybe even consider a family member if you have a child or a grandchild or a parent. You could even consider what are some of the issues that they're going through right now. So just take a moment. You can feel free to write that down in your notebook. You might actually might want to take some notes tonight, and then you could additionally take some screenshots if you wanted to. On my computer, all I have to do is hit Control, Command, and 3, and it takes a picture of my whole screen. And you might like that for future reference. So what hurts, and for how long, and what have you tried? And this just gives you an opportunity to assess what your pain is so that we can come up with an adequate diagnosis and eventually come up with the right protocol for you. So we want to get to the root cause of issues. And, it's so important to have a good diagnosis, right? So you want to know if you have bursitis or a torn rotator cuff, or if you have a leaky gut, or you've just fallen off your bike and you broke your wrist. You just want to be able to have a good diagnosis. But even as your body's healing, we need to support it. So there are things that we can do to help move that process along, move along that process of healing. And it's really tempting to use medications, over the counter and prescription medications. And I'd like to just remind you of some of the hazards of that. So acetaminophen, which is in Tylenol, and Excedrin are the leading cause of acute liver failure. And that's actually something that can show up on a death certificate, medically induced acute liver failure. Another issue would be that adding alcohol can be dangerous. And sometimes you're using these medications for such a long time that you actually forget that that interaction can occur. And you should use a leave for no more than 10 days. I have a girlfriend who had a knee replacement surgery, and she then had another one right after that. And so she was on a leave for an awfully long time. And she ended up with a stomach bleed, and she was very, very ill. She almost passed. So all medicines have side effects, right? Because they are synthetics, they're made in a lab, and your body has to sort out what those ingredients are, and everything has to go through your liver. These medicines also turn off certain biochemical pathways in the body, so we need to be aware of their side effects. And pain relievers can react harmfully with other medications, right? So if you're using something for a long time and you go to several different doctors, it's not unusual for you to have these interactions that are unwanted. And then, of course, we also know that prescription opioids can lead to addiction. So we want to get to the root cause of pain and support the body while it heals. And Western medicine has created an industry of health specialists. So, for example, you see one doctor for digestive issues and another one for shoulder pain. And each one has its prescription pad at their fingertips, and they have no time to be interested in areas of the body that are not under their specialty, right? So, for example, you could have a digestive issue that causes pain in the right shoulder. So liver pain and right shoulder pain are actually best friends. So I see the body as a whole system, and I invite you to make a free discovery call with me so that I can help you connect the dots. So you can just leave a message in the chat if you're interested, and we can go over some of the issues that you're having and how diet, nutrition, lifestyle, and some of our gorgeous doTERRA products can help you move the needle in the right direction, right? Okay, so nobody wants to live with pain, and I invite you to use the healing power of nature instead. You are nature. You are bits and pieces of nature. And it makes more sense to me to use natural elements to help the body heal. And so I would recommend you use these products first. And if they don't work, then seek out the over the counter and prescription medication. So, how does that sound? Does that sound like a good deal? Yeah, okay, great. Oh, so let's talk about pain. So this is acute pain, right? It's the trip and fall. It could have been me riding my bicycle July 28th. I tipped over and broke my wrist. But I think Sandra Bullock just does a beautiful job there. She keeps that crown on. That's amazing. So acute pain is something that you actually recognize the event. The pain can last for up to 6 months, and acute pain can turn into chronic pain, if a joint doesn't heal well, and it can become arthritic, right? So we want to be able to support the body during this healing process so that we don't have chronic pain later on. And then we also have chronic pain. And, typically this is of an unknown origin. It can travel around the body. You can find it in your hips and in your back and your shoulder and your neck. And it can last longer than 6 months. It can definitely influence your mood and your emotional well-being. And it's not unusual for diagnoses to take a really, really long time, especially if it ends up being some kind of autoimmune concern. So I have for you 4 hacks to help you ease pain. And the first one that we're going to talk about is upgrading your foundational wellness. Sorry about that. We'll add a little bit of body text. That's the Canva. That's from Canva. Upgrade your foundational wellness. And I'm going to talk to you about VMG and E Omega Plus. So are you familiar with these two products, having seen them on the virtual convention and in person? Yeah, good. Okay, great. So let's talk about what that means. So I have this really awesome video that I'm going to share with you. So the cool thing about the VMG Plus is that it has a liposomal technology delivery system. And rather than me trying to explain that to you, I found kind of a nice video. This is on YouTube. There may be a couple of seconds of advertisement. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that as soon as I can. But here is the link for that. So much stuff on the screen. Let's move this stuff out of the way. All right, let me know if you can see that okay.
Did you know that Amazon has a $50 million fund that they have to pay out every month? And here's how you can get a cut of it.
Hi, this is Dr. Mercola, and maybe you've heard me talk about liposomes and phospholipids, or how liposomes enhance the uptake and bioavailability of nutrients. To help you better understand how liposomes and phospholipids work in your body, I'd like to show you a short animation. When you swallow a capsule, it goes into your stomach and then your intestines. The acids in your stomach will cause the capsule to rapidly disintegrate and release its contents, which is typically not a great setup for ideal absorption. However, with liposomal technology, the active ingredients are formed into structures called liposomes, which consist of bilayers of molecules that help protect and transport the active ingredients so that they are more efficiently and ideally absorbed. And this is where it gets really interesting. Once those liposomes are absorbed from your GI tract into your bloodstream, they're able to penetrate more rapidly into the target tissues of your body where they're needed. In the final animation sequence, you will see a comparison between the two processes. These liposomes, which are formed in your body, disintegrate in your stomach and intestine and result in improved bioavailability of the active ingredients.
Okay, so is that helpful to see that little animation? That is how the VMZ is doing its thing. So it's going to be moving into the body more efficiently. It's more bioavailable because each of the ingredients are encapsulated in this liposomal technology, which I understand is basically a layer of fat. It's a little microcapsule of fat, and inside will be the ingredients from the VMZ. Another thing that's in the VMZ is fiber from our greens. 95% of Americans don't get enough fiber, and that's going to affect the rate of digestion. It's going to provide the absorption of nutrients, provides foods for your probiotics. And I think one of the most important things to consider is that it eliminates not only excess hormones, but any toxins that accumulate in your body. So we don't want estrogen and cholesterol and other toxins to be accumulating in your waist and then sitting in your colon. We want that to move right along. And so the VMG also has the greens. So it's vitamins, minerals, and greens. And actually, it's a really awesome combination of products. You're not taking all those pills anymore. You're actually getting a powdered form. So what if the best-selling Lifelong Vitality and the doTERRA greens had a baby and they had a liposomal fairy godmother? You would end up with a VMG plus food nutrient. And so this is a superfood blend that helps to ease pain. It can even help maybe heal a leaky gut. You have methylated B12. That's a great way to help the body detoxify itself. It may help with diabetic neuropathy, low back pain, neuralgia. We have CoQ10 in there to ease pain from statins. Broccoli seed extract in the cellular support blend helps exercise recovery and reduces inflammation. And then we also have biotin, which eases peripheral neuropathy, reduces joint pain, and rebuilds muscle tissue. So I know that you've hated taking all of those Lifelong Vitality capsules, right? You have to take so many of those. And so now it's going to be in a much easier package. You just pour that into some water and stir that up. You can mix your collagen advantage in with that as well. You get 90 high quality ingredients in a daily nutritional powder drink, and it's designed to optimize your foundational wellness so you can feel better and you can live better.
I have a question, Wendy.
Yeah.
Is this the one I was watching them talk about, that it is flavored with actual, not, synthetic flavoring with like pineapple and the mango? Is this the same one, or is this one a different one? I can't remember. Because my question was, and I posted it somewhere to ask if people who have a pineapple allergy, if it's something that they can have.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to find out the answer to that question. I don't know it, but I have a builder on my team who's determined to try it, even though she has a pineapple allergy.
Okay.
So we'll have to see how she feels about that, but that's a great question. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to try it anyways because it is not an anaphylactic allergy. It is it affects my mouth and all that, because it's oh my gosh, what the allergists call it, I can't remember. But I just wasn't sure, because I know the greens, when I tried those, I instantly had the tingling and the swelling of my tongue and my cheeks. So just wasn't sure.
Yeah, this may not be the product for you, but then you could always stick with the Life Vitality pack, right? Well, if it's got things in there that are triggers, you don't want to cause any with the
okay.
So it's probably not going to be worth it. But for those of us that don't have allergies, some of the testimonials that we got, these were from doTERRA Wellness Advocates. They're excited about the flavor. They thought that the experience of taking their supplements had been enhanced because they didn't have to take all those capsules, and that they liked the way the powder dissolved, and they had more energy, and they're consistently taking their vitamins and minerals every day. So that was some really nice things to hear. I like getting those testimonials from our wellness advocates to see how they're feeling about the products. Another ingredient or another product that was released at convention was an upgrade to the XE Omega, which I was personally kind of excited to see. The XE Omega was a balanced blend of omega-3 and omega-6. And for most of us, we're getting plenty of omega-6 in our diet. So we really need the 3. Omega-3 is a natural anti-inflammatory, and it has so many benefits. It's called an essential fatty acid because your body doesn't make fatty acids. You have to take them in, typically by your food. I remember learning in health coach school that you had to eat 7 pounds of lobster a day to get enough omega-3s to help sustain your health. So everything from your eye health to improved blood flow, synovial fluid in your joints, and maybe even helping you heal a leaky gut. And I'm going to talk about leaky gut off and on tonight, but it just seems like it's such a common occurrence. So common, in fact, that I think people are living with this that don't even realize it. If you have an autoimmune concern, 3 things have to have happened. The first one is you have to have a genetic predisposition to have an autoimmune issue. So someone in your family had something similar. The other thing that has to happen is you have to have sustained some sort of infection, some elevated inflammation. And then the third thing that happens in this trifecta is the leaky gut. So we want to make sure that we seal up any of those little openings that are happening in the stomach, the small intestine, and the large intestine. And so I'm happy to know that the E Omega Plus can help move us in that direction. There's more omega-3s in this product than there was in the XE Omega product. It comes to us from fish oil sourced from wild-caught fish from the Nordic seas, and it's a clean, traceable, and sustainable source. It's going to have great benefits to your heart health because, again, it's a more intense amount of omega-3s. It also has our wild orange essential oil in it. So in a couple of classes that I taught a while back, I talked about how essential oils can be used as preservatives. And that's exactly what they're doing with the E Omega Plus product. They're using the wild orange to preserve the fish oil. I remember teaching one of those pickle picker parties at the cooking gallery in Reno. And one of the women who attended the pickle picker party was talking to me about fish oil. And she just bought herself this big bottle of fish oil at Costco. So I said, why don't you go get that? Let's check it out, because I was interested to see the label. And she opened it up and we both nearly fell over. It was the most horrible fishy aroma. And again, it was this huge bottle. So I thought, gosh, she'll end up leaving that to somebody in her will. I mean, she will never use all that fish oil. So I really appreciate that we're adding the wild orange to this. And it's in a size bottle that you're going to use during the month, and you're going to go ahead and get yourself a fresh bottle when you're done. You're not getting this industrial strength size bottle of fish oil from Costco, right? Okay, so that's my little soapbox there. Okay, the next one that I have for you as part of your foundational wellness is the frankincense capsules. And I was pretty excited about this too. It seems like every time I hear Dr. Hill speak from doTERRA, he's always telling us about the importance of cellular health. And frankincense is one of these essential oils that seems to be able to target unhealthy cells and improve the vitality of those cells. If you notice, it's in just about every supplement that doTERRA sells. It'll have a frankincense or a boswellia acid complex in it. So now they've just made frankincense capsules with the boswellic acid complex in it. So I think that's going to be a wonderful addition. They were singing its praises for helping you with joint, ligament, and tendon issues, mobility issues, easing oxidative stress, which helps to limit the aging or slow down the aging of cells. It supports cellular health and renewal. So I want you to think about those illnesses in which unhealthy cells are just proliferating throughout the body. So this is going to help you manage that. It has a protective effect on the musculoskeletal and nervous systems and helps regulate genes associated with a healthy inflammatory response. And I was kind of excited about that last one because, again, I'm thinking about those autoimmune issues that people are dealing with. We want to turn off that switch, right? So this could be a really helpful product for that. And if you take a real close look, I really searched for a good image on my slide here, but you might be able to see the way that capsule looks. We've got the frankincense oil, which is in the capsule, but then you see these little micro beads, and they have the boswellic acid inside those little micro beads. It kind of reminded me of our turmeric capsule. So the turmeric that we have is a whole plant product. And this is the same. It is a whole plant product. So you're getting the resin and you're getting the essential oil. Okay, so this is just an image here. You may want to take a screenshot if that helps you, but this is how you're going to upgrade your foundational wellness to live better. You're going to take your VMG Plus once a day, unless you're Michelle and she might have to take the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And then you're going to take 3 capsules a day of the E Omega. You'll take those with food. And then once a day for the frankincense capsule. And then once a day for the PB Restore, which we're going to talk about in just a couple of minutes. Okay, so my second tip for you, my second hack to help you ease pain is to put clothing on your carbohydrates. So what we want to do here is mix fats, proteins, and fiber with any high carbohydrate meal. So now we're talking about nutrition, right? And so we have macronutrients that make up our diet: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And I want to think specifically for a moment about carbohydrates. We have 2 different types of carbohydrates. We have starchy carbohydrates, which are things like pasta, which I actually had for dinner tonight, bread, and we have biscuits and potatoes. And then we have carbohydrates that are sweet. So you can think about a mixed cocktail or a candy bar or a piece of fruit or maple syrup or honey. But you know, in your body, it doesn't matter what the source of that carbohydrate was. It turns into glucose once it's in your body. It turns into sugar, and I'll also use the word glucose. So when you ingest these foods, what we're recommending is that you never eat those carbohydrates naked. You always want to eat them with something else. Here's an image of the blood sugar spike that you'd experience if you just ate a piece of cake or some bread or a candy bar, which I'm guilty of doing, by the way. I mean, I'll just go ahead and grab like a teeny weeny bag of M&Ms if they're in the pantry, right? And I won't even give it another thought. But what we're recommending is that you do combine that with something else. So that'll boost my blood sugar. And how does it do that? So now I've eaten these carbohydrates. They're in my bloodstream. My pancreas is going to secrete insulin. The insulin is going to carry the molecules of sugar to my cells. There's going to be a receptor on the cell, and the cell will receive the sugar. Now, if I've eaten meals too close together or I've had too much sugar, my cells are going to say, you know what, I'm full, thanks. I don't need any more sugar in my cell. So that means the sugar is going to stay in the bloodstream. The insulin will be secreted again from the pancreas, and that can lead us to insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, metabolic diseases. So if we had fruits and vegetables, you can have a more manageable blood sugar spike. You can see that green line. And that's really what we're after. When we have these extremes in our blood sugar, it secretes something called an advanced glycation end product. And the nickname for that, or the acronym for that, is AGEs. And these sugar spikes actually age your tissues. And it's much healthier for your longevity if you have a more gentle spike in your blood sugar. So how does blood sugar cause pain? So the immune system is going to release inflammatory molecules to break down the sugar, and this leads to inflammation throughout the body. Some of the issues that are caused from this inflammation would be neuropathy, joint pain, muscle stiffness and swelling, osteoarthritis, arthritis, tendinitis, and kidney pain. So what's recommended is that we put some clothing on our carbohydrates. So you can see this top image with the steel cut oats, showing you the spike in the blood sugar if you just eat the oatmeal. So that's a carbohydrate that turns into sugar in your body. And if you're my husband, you're going to add sliced bananas, which is also going to increase that blood sugar, maple syrup, which is also going to increase that blood sugar, dried cranberries, which is also going to increase that blood sugar, right? So it would be much healthier for him if he could put a little bit of protein in the shape of these eggs with his oatmeal, and that would help minimize the blood sugar spike. Apple cider vinegar is a really great thing to consider adding to your diet. I know that there are some people that really don't like the taste, but I actually enjoy it. I'll make myself an 8-ounce glass with maybe a tablespoon or 2 of the apple cider vinegar, the Mother's brand. And then I'll fill my glass maybe 3/4 of the way with water, squeeze in some juice of a lemon, fill it with ice. And I actually really like the way that that tastes. And that'll help me manage my blood sugar, and also does some wonderful things to boost the acidity of your stomach, which is really important to break down any pathogens, virus, anything that's coming in from our environment that's not supposed to be there. And also you need enough acid in your stomach to turn on the enzyme pepsin, which is going to help you digest meat proteins. So anyway, the point of this is to help you minimize these blood sugar spikes by always trying to eat fat, fiber, and protein with your carbohydrates. So here's just a couple of examples of combinations of foods: the oatmeal with an egg, the arugula salad with spaghetti, a salad with vinegar, then your cheeseburger and fries, and add black beans to your rice, and an apple with peanut butter. And that's going to help to minimize that blood sugar spike. So if that seems a little overwhelming to you, maybe your family life won't allow you to really coordinate those foods, or maybe you're eating on the run, or you're just trying to get something out of the vending machine. You know, these things happen. Our lives are really built around convenience, right? So I wonder if mulberry leaf extract could be the little black dress for your carbohydrates. So maybe this is something that you can incorporate into your daily routine. Mulberry leaf extract has been shown to slow down the rate of carbohydrate/sugar absorption, and it lowers the glucose spike, and it's always in fashion. So where are you going to find mulberry leaf extract? It's going to be in our MetaPower Assist. MetaPower Assist has mulberry leaf extract, and it also has the essential oils listed on the left side that have been shown to support good metabolic function. And when you do this, you're going to lower that spike, and you'll give your immune system a little bit of a break, because you're going to start to lower that inflammation, right? So the VMG plus is going to be that nutrient, all those nutritious ingredients from the VMC, from the CRS plus. You're going to be getting the greens, you're going to be getting the E omega, and you're going to be adding the MetaPower if you need a little assist to manage that blood sugar. I always like to remind people that doTERRA only sells CPTG products, certified pure, tested grade essential oils and products. So doTERRA has set the bar for essential oil purity, potency, and testing. Proper extraction and quality control methods allow doTERRA essential oils to be free of any contaminants, such as pesticides, synthetics, solvents, any fillers, or any adulterants that are going to interfere with the efficacy of our products. When you take our frankincense essential oil, for instance, you can be assured that that frankincense is going to find its way into the cell membrane, right through the cell membrane. If it's a synthetic or has synthetics in it, there's no guarantee that that will come into the body. And quite frankly, it can give you some adverse side effects. All right, so my third hack is to make sure that you're drinking nutrient-rich water. You know, if you get water out of the tap, I have filtered water out of my refrigerator. Chances are pretty good that we are filtering out all of the essential nutrients that are in our water. And that's going to lead to cellular dehydration. It's been shown that people that have dehydration have higher perception of pain and lower pain tolerance. And I'll also say type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, insulin resistance, those populations also have an increased tendency to perceive pain. And it's a real shame because we're having more and more children that are dealing with these issues as well. So not only dehydration leading to higher perception of pain, but also reduces the blood flow to the brain, which can make pain feel worse, reduces the amount of synovial fluid, which acts as a lubricant in your joint, and this will increase the friction and wear and tear on your joints, which ultimately will damage your cartilage. And it will disrupt the electrolyte balance, which causes muscle cramps and spasms and other things as well. My mother had an issue where she had gone into AFib, and it was determined that it was because of an electrolyte issue. Thank God it wasn't her heart. But drinking water is really just half the story. You have to move. You have to get that water to come into the cells. And so if you enjoy taking a walk, that's a great way to get the body to move the water throughout your system so that the cells can absorb it. If you do the melt method, or you do yoga, if you do any kind of body work or massage, those are also great ways to get the water to come into the cells. It doesn't make any sense to sit, excuse me, at your desk with a gallon of water and just drink that water throughout the day. You really have to move. Drinking that much water without movement is going to impact your bladder, your kidneys. You want to make sure that you're getting that water to go where it needs to go. And we also want to make sure that it's quality water and that it has all of the electrolytes in it to help balance your body's system. So each one of these electrolytes needs to occur in balance. So I was looking at my mom's blood work not too long ago, and I could see that she was very low in potassium and very low in chloride. And I said to her, you know, Mom, it would be a good idea if you could drink a little bit more water. And I would love for her to do the electrolyte drink from doTERRA, but she's not quite there yet. But she said to me, oh, Wendy, I drink plenty of water. You know how ladies are sometimes. She just thinks that she drinks plenty of water and she didn't need any more. And then it was maybe 3 weeks later, it wasn't much long after that, that she had that issue with AFib. So that's an electrical issue in the body that was causing a misfiring of her heart. Yeah, so it's a big deal to make sure that you're getting enough electrolytes in your water. And ideally, the water has the electrolytes in it because we're drinking bottled water, filtered water, what's that other one? Reverse osmosis water. It's pulling all of these things out of our water supply. So you can eat your electrolytes too. So potassium, for instance, you can eat bananas and beets and greens, salmon. Sodium, you'd eat dill pickles, clams, table salt. I would always recommend a mineral salt. I love the Redmond's salt from Utah. That's my favorite salt in the whole world. Magnesium, you want to eat spinach and pumpkin, tuna, brown rice. For calcium, of course, it's milk and cheese. Phosphates, scallops, quinoa, tofu. Chloride, so this was the one that my mother was low in: rye, tomatoes, lettuce, celery, and olives. And what was interesting to me when I looked at this list is that my mother really can't eat some of these foods. She can't eat tomatoes, she can't eat lettuce, and she can't eat celery because she's got some triggers with these foods. So then it becomes more, more of an issue. She needs to supplement those electrolytes. So one of the things she could do, and you could try this too, is you could drink coconut water. That is the perfect blend of electrolytes. I'm not too fond of the flavor of coconut water, but if you add quite a bit of lemon juice to that, you might be able to tolerate it. So eat your electrolytes if you need to. The coconut water is a good option, but then of course we have our MetaPower Recharge. So it provides a balanced ratio of those 6 electrolytes. It includes 75 deep ocean minerals, and that magnesium is such an important one to consider. Something like 75% of the population is low in magnesium. And even the foods that we're eating now, the quality of the food is so poor that we just don't have the nutrient density that we used to have with our foods. Okay, my last hack for you is the microbiome balance. And research is suggesting that an imbalance in gut bacteria can contribute to pain perception. I think this area is so fascinating. I love to think about microbiome balance. So when we have an imbalance, we can create that leaky gut that I talked about a few minutes ago, and that puts us at risk for those metabolic disorders such as type 2 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, fibromyalgia, neuropathy, and mood disorders. And these are all adverse pro-inflammatory states. So we want to reduce the inflammation, right? So what causes an imbalance of the gut microbiomes? Yo-yo dieting, poor dietary choices, too much stress, lack of physical activity, poor sleep, using antibiotics or eating food sprayed with glyphosate, and even proton pump inhibitors can lead to a microbiome imbalance. This imbalance is also called gut dysbiosis, and it creates a loss of beneficial microbiome organisms and an overgrowth of pathogens with a loss of diversity and abundance. So it could lead to things like candida, for instance. And this creates a risk for systemic inflammation, disease, and accelerated aging. The imbalance also connects the gut to the musculoskeletal system and contributes to a loss of muscle mass. So it's a huge issue as we age. And what I think is so fascinating about the microbiome is that they are sneaky. If a particular bacteria prefers an inflammatory state, they will create one, and you will become inflamed because of the influence of your bacteria. So of course, the recommendation is to eat the rainbow, right? And improve the diversity of your diet. And 75% of the world's food is coming from just 12 plant sources and 5 animals. So we have a lower diversity of microbiomes. Additionally, animal protein sources are being raised and what's called a monoculture. So they're not even being fed the diversity of foods that are beneficial for their health. And our soils have become depleted too. So I always like to say, if you take care of your microbiome will take care of you. So take a probiotic is the most beneficial thing that you can do for your gut health and maybe the best way to normalize your inflammatory response. There are lots and lots of probiotics on the market, and many, many, many of them are just junk. And we love the PB Restore Probiome Complex. It's a dual chamber capsule, so that means some of the ingredients are going to be released in your stomach, and some of them will be maintained to release in the small intestine. There are live cells inside of the capsule. There's a cleanup crew for expired cells, which means you're going to be making more room for healthy metabolites. And the metabolites are the end products of the microbiome. They connect the brain to the gut, and that's going to help you deal with things like cravings. And it has the highest diversity of any probiotic on the market. It's really a terrific product. Alrighty, so that was kind of a wham bam, thank you ma'am, of those 4 hacks. And now this is my bonus round. So I wanted to talk to you about how to use essential oils topically to help you ease any discomforts, because frankly, if you have an autoimmune concern, or if you've broken your wrist, or you have some other mysterious chronic illness, as you're making these changes with your diet and your lifestyle and you're upgrading your foundational wellness, you're still going to need some support to ease aches and discomforts. And so the superstars here are, of course, our Deep Blue product line. But we have a new one to share with you. So released at convention was the frankincense stick with I always forget to say it, now wood. So this particular wood grows alongside sandalwood in the reforested areas of the Big Island of Hawaii. So it's growing next to our sandalwood trees. And you can use this topically on areas of concern to ease local inflammation. You could layer the Frankie stick with your favorite products like the Deep Blue stick or Copaiba or AromaTouch to improve joint mobility and comfort. And I found on the digital marketing kit through doTERRA a sheet that has 25 ways to use the frankincense stick. So if you're interested in that, you just let me know. Maybe I'll just go ahead and put it on This Stuff Really Works so that you can have that for yourself and you can download that later. You might also want to take a snapshot of this. This is just a little overview of some of the products that I think are worth having at your fingertips. So anytime that you're experiencing aches and discomforts, you really want to invest in getting your body to be comfortable. Your body's telling you that something needs to change, that you need to do something different. And these are some of the products that I think are worth having. So we talked about the PB Restore and the Electrolyte, and of course the MetaPower Assist. The frankincense capsules are here to normalize your inflammatory response. Everybody's familiar with the Deep Blue Stick. We have our MVG Plus and the E Omega to add to the mix. And then I've added lemongrass, which I always think is the unsung hero of our essential oils. It's such a great product. It does so many wonderful things when your body is uncomfortable. And then, of course, the copaiba soft gels are wonderful to add to help normalize that inflammatory response. I also wanted to share a nerve damage blend that I found in one of my books. So my mom's been dealing with some pretty serious neuropathy in her lower legs, and she's been really, really uncomfortable. And she wakes up in the morning, she's got these terrible cramps. It keeps her awake for hours at night. And she's been using a couple of over-the-counter products. And actually one of them worked pretty well for her. It's called Nervine, I think. But the price went up. So she was kind of mad that they were charging her more money for that. So I thought I would try this rollerball blend. And boy, it works amazingly well. So I invite you to just know that that's out there if you know somebody that deals with that kind of an issue. Frankincense, helichrysum, Roman chamomile, vetiver, and peppermint. And she's told me that there was one night that she forgot to put it on and she had her issues again that night. All right, so that is my little class for you tonight. Do you have any questions or any comments, any things you want to add? I'd love to hear from you.
So I've been taking like the copaiba in the morning, and I've been doing the like the turmeric in the evening, and have my little regimen each time. How do I know which ones? Because it seems, every time we talk about, like the LLV and things like that, I feel like I'm going to be taking 50 pills, but I know that I don't have to take all of them.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good question. Every now and then someone will ask me, I have a friend who just had a knee replacement. She said, I've got a lot of pain because of the surgery. And so I always feel like a polyphenol and an omega-3, that combination is really powerful. Sometimes I think too, Michelle, you might need to switch things up every now and then and see if something works better. And then maybe after a while, switch it up again and see if something else is going to be helpful for you. I think that this frankincense capsule could be a really good addition to what you're already doing. I mean, frankincense and copaiba together are a pretty powerful combination. I think you're right on.
Yeah, and I'll do that. I'll put that on my hand if I'm having knee pain with some of the coconut oil, the copaiba, and the frankincense, and then I just like rub it on my knees or wherever I'm having pain.
Yeah.
So after my half marathon thing on Sunday, yes, I'll probably be using that.
So what's this half marathon thing? What did you do?
Oh, I joined a team with my cousin, Team World Vision, where they have a marathon that we participate in Sacramento, and we raise money. Our team raises money for clean water in other areas, like other countries and whatnot, where they don't have the clean water, which in talking with all these things, icky water can cause all these bad things inside of us too. So
Yeah.
that's what we do. We've been training since this year. We've started training, I think, in April.
Wow, that's ambitious.
So yeah, I'll have some aches and pains, but yeah, I just, I have things that I take, and I probably should look at what I'm taking every day and mix it up a little.
Yeah, well, if you're finding that it's not working, and then, with all the love in my heart, your body's going to tell you what is appropriate and what you need to change. And so, it could be that the training that you're doing is just doing more harm than good. And so there might be other ways to participate in that fundraiser. So
there's a 5K.
Yeah, there you go.
It's way less. So
Yeah.
that'll be the goal from now on out with the old body.
And I also think it's so important to take care of your joints and your fascia. And, whether that's with a massage or Barbara and I have done the melt method together. Barbara does her chair yoga. Those kinds of things can help lengthen the tissue,
Yeah.
separate these joints, give you a little bit more space so you're not bone on bone. So those kinds of things can be helpful. So it's a really good question. I think it's about supporting that musculoskeletal system, the ligaments, the tendons, the muscles, the bone. And certainly the frankincense capsules sound like they would be a good addition for you.
Yeah, I'll have to try those.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know how that works for you. What else? What else is going on?
Wendy, I just want to tell you, I'm very excited about the omega-3 because last March, and I go once a year, my primary doctor at the VA, she suggested to just take vitamin E or omega-3 to lower my triglycerides.
Wow.
And I've been buying the ones that CVS or Really's, you know, and then this one came out and I went, oh my gosh, here's one from doTERRA. I know this is going to be a good one. So I'm
Yes.
very excited and I can't wait to order, but I'm always afraid when it says available October 1st that I'll try to order and I'll push the button and it'll say out of stock. Everything's out of stock.
Yeah. I know it is a worry. And Lori did send a text in through the chat. She was wondering when the products would be available. All the products that we talked about tonight are going to be available October 1st. So what's that, Tuesday, right? Tuesday.
Yeah. But I'm afraid that, if I'll jump in there, they'll say, oh, we're out of stock. Like, oh no.
I know, I hate that. And people are like rushing out like it's a toilet paper shortage.
Exactly.
Buy it all up.
And
Well,
I love the fact that, I love my omega-3, not the omega-3, the Vitality Pack, but I really am one of those, and I'm so whiny, swallowing all those capsules, even though they're slippery, and they're not, chalky and everything. It's like, oh my God, how many more capsules do I have to take a day?
I know. I hear you. I think this is going to be a really good change to just
I do too. I'm very excited about it.
We live by convenience, right? We want everything to be convenient.
Yes.
Rush. Yeah, everything is a big rush. Yeah. Anybody else? Shelley, what do you think is going on here? What are you excited about with the products?
Well, I love all of them. I'm really excited about all of them to incorporate those into my repertoire. I definitely love the VMG, and we could taste it there. So it's fantastic. It's delicious than I had expected. Because I've done a lot of greens in the past, whether I juiced them or whether I just took greens, that I purchased on Amazon or what have you. And they're okay, but you're still tasting the greens. But the way they've flavored it is so fantastic. And for me, I believe I have the gene mutation you were talking about, Wendy, the MTHFR. And so the vitamin B's there's a lot of alphabet soup here, but the vitamin B boys that are in the VMG are methylated. So for people who have a problem breaking down certain components of vitamin B's, this is already broken down. It's like you were saying, it's bioavailable. So I'm so excited about that. And having frankincense and the boswellic acid and that amazing combination. I've taken essential fatty acids and I've taken a lot of different products, but now knowing that doTERRA can proclaim without getting in trouble, the AFAs that they have now are literally the best in the world because of that wild orange. So I just want it all.
Good. So any more kits available? Is that right? I thought they had sold out all of the convention kits.
I'm not sure. I decided to buy 2, it's a hit at once. I put it on the credit card. However, I've learned the hard way that not investing in my health is not a good direction for me to go. So
Mhm.
the way I have been diagnosed with rheumatoid and with osteo and all kinds of other itises in my elbows. And so I've learned I have one place to live right
Yeah.
here. It's not my house, but it's my body house. And if I invest in that, then I hurt.
Yeah.
So I've made just a conscious choice to invest in my health. And I am excited because I trust the science. Not necessarily does the science always come first, but it's such a beautiful backup because they've done so much, so many different publications on all these products. And now for my friends who are in the medical industry, I can say, well, here's the science, go to PubMed and look it up. And then they're responding to that saying, oh, okay, now it's valid.
Isn't that an interesting thought? Yeah, as you were talking, I have so much confidence in doTERRA. I've been with them since 2016. And so I just have faith that they have my best interest in heart, right? They've vetted
Yeah.
these ingredients. And when I meet somebody new, I have to remember that they don't have the affection for
Mhm.
doTERRA that I do. And I have to start them right where you're saying, I have to start them with the proof, the science, the research that backs up what we're talking about. So
Yeah.
it's a good reminder.
Yeah.
I,
It's
I have to contribute. I have to, from what you just said, it was so wonderfully said. When I did show my Vitality Pack to my physician, she's young and with it and smart. She just jumped right on her computer and brought that Vitality Pack up and read all three, what was in everything. And she's, oh, that's good. Yeah, that's great. Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah, keep taking those. So I was excited because here's a medical person that, educated in the sciences and me, and was very complimentary.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, and everybody has to start where they're most comfortable. So she needs to look at the computer, somebody needs a testimonial, somebody
Yes.
it just depends on where they're at and how you can best help them.
Mm-hmm.
So Lori, are you still there? I'd love to hear from you. Do you have any questions or anything that you wanted to know more about? Okay. Bye, Shelley. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope that you found that it was helpful to get a little bit more clarity on some of these products. There's also some limited time offer essential oils that are also available. Again, limited time, so when they sell out, they won't have them anymore. And then it'll be that Naya wood. No, I'm sorry, that was just for the convention. It's the Escape line. There are 3 5 ml bottles of, it sounds like a beautiful blend of essential oils. One smells like the ocean, one smells like the Amazon rainforest, and the other one is a vineyard, like a Napa Valley vineyard.
Oh, yes, that sounded good to me.
So I think you
Awesome.
can buy them as a pack or you can buy them separately. So that there are a couple of other things.
Wendy, I've heard so many of your wonderful talks and educational seminars. And the thing that I had an aha moment about, and maybe you've said it before, but that whole idea of, yes, drink a lot of fluids, water mostly, but the movement, how important the movement was to get the water through your system. You can't just sit and drink gallons of water or even good water or coconut water. You have to get up and move so that it goes through your body. That really hit me today.
That's why the melt method is so nice, because we're actually into the tissue.
Right.
Of that cellular rehydration. It's a
Right.
great, yeah.
So this was wonderful. And we will get a recording.
Yeah, I'll send that recording out.
Yay. I'm going to share it with my sister.
Excellent. Good, good. Well, thank you, Michelle, for making me do this.
Yes, thank you, Michelle.
Well, and I'm glad that, that the weather didn't get in your way,
No,
Wendy,
oh,
because
so scary though. Oh my gosh.
it's been crazy. Yeah, I saw a few pictures. My sister-in-law was recording there in St. Petersburg, and I thought, whoa, that's some wind.
Oh my God.
And Mike,
It was beautiful. I got
what?
and it was a beautiful day. I walked to my mother's house and she made me breakfast. And I walked back and I said, "Oh, this is going to be nothing. It's going to be beautiful." And then as the afternoon progressed, I was supposed to teach Pilates at like 6 o'clock or something like that. And I kept like waiting to see if the weather was going to change. I'm like, it's fine. It's going to be fine. At one point, they said the storm is 160 miles away from Punta Gorda, and that's the closest it's going to get to you. And again, I was like, no big deal. It's going to be fine. At about 5 o'clock, it was like a flip of a switch and everything changed. So canceled the Pilates class. And I'm talking to my mom on the phone during the day. And I wished that I had been more. Sometimes you have to mother your mother. Should come and stay with us. Why don't you stay?
Aw.
And she said, "Oh no," because again, it was a pretty day. "Oh no, I'll be fine. I'll be fine." Well, we kept getting these tornado warnings
Ugh.
on the phone. So she calls me and she goes, "I'm really scared now with these warnings." So I said, "Well, do you want to go over there?" So I said, maybe that's what I should do. So I called her back to coordinate what we were going to do. And I just so happened to walk out the front door. Now, the canal is at the back of the house, and that was overflowing. Oh, Lori says she lives in Venice. I love Venice. And the water was coming up onto the lawn at the back of the house. But I never thought about what was going on at the front. So when I opened the door, I could see water coming up out of our drainage system. And I thought to myself, oh, that's probably debris that's stuck there and it's not moving. No, the whole community was underwater, and that water was coming up from the canal system.
Yeah.
They said it was a 5-foot surge, and we had high tide at about 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was praying that we weren't going to be getting out of bed with wet feet. That's about it. Of course, the historic community, which is downtown Punta Gorda, is so beautiful. Little brick streets and cute little houses and everything. Water, your eyebrows. And all of the belongings on the street.
Oh, again. Again.
Awful, awful, awful. But really not as bad as other places. I mean, like North Carolina, who would have thought?
Yeah,
Yeah.
North Carolina, and because my kids are in Tennessee, but they're, middle Tennessee. When I saw the eastern part, I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much they're getting as a residual from the hurricane. Where they are in Clarksville, they've had like flood warnings, but they haven't had anything, happen, which is good. It's just a lot of rain. So yeah, I can't even imagine being in those areas with all that water.
Yeah.
Just heartbreaking. And I don't know how many people have perished and how many animals, and oh my
Ugh.
God. Awful, awful, awful. So we were so lucky. We really didn't have that much rain. We didn't have any thunder. And lightning. I mean, it was a really strange. When the storm was in Tallahassee, that's when it was bad for us.
Yeah,
Coming from the Gulf into all of these communities. It was
interesting.
crazy, crazy.
Well, I'm just glad you're safe, my dear.
Yeah, as long as you guys are all safe, that's exactly right.
Wished I
Yeah.
had kept my kayak.
Oh.
And Michelle, is he home now?
The what?
Is your husband home?
He is. Their team's up for deployment again in a week. So when I heard everything going on, on the east, he's been in the Carolinas before for hurricanes and the flooding and whatnot. But I think we have enough fires out here that he'll stay on this side. So we'll see.
She says
Tis the season. It goes from, our fire season here on the West Coast to, the right into the hurricane season. And
Where are
so
you?
I am in Sacramento, California.
Okay. Well, I'm in Reno. Yeah, just over the hill.
Okay, so yeah, you're not far.
That's those firefighters. When we had that fire start, that idiot that started that fire at Davis Creek Campground, and it flew so fast through Washoe Valley and up into South Reno. I was like, oh my God, I have so many friends who had to be evacuated from South Reno. And those firefighters, they were on it. They knew just what to do. And it was a lot of physical work, digging, the trenches and everything. And it was pretty scary, but they preserved a lot. I mean, it could have been so much worse, so much worse.
Yeah, it was not enough water and a lot of fuel.
Oh, and just people doing
So,
ridiculous things, like just
Mhm.
no common sense, like that guy that shoved his car, a burning car into a ravine in Chico and started that
well,
horrible.
I think that was purposeful.
You think
I
he was
think he
stole
kind
the
of
car?
I think he did that on purpose because if
Uh,
I remember correctly that he was arrested and they had said purposefully, but yeah, it's just as simple as if you have a boat and you're towing it and you have a chain that's clanking on the road, people don't
True.
realize that
Exactly.
middle of day you can't see sparks, but they're there.
I know. And people when I lived in
So-
Truckee, they would park their cars with their catalytic converters on top of the pine needles when they have a driveway there. Now they
Yeah.
park it on the yard. It's like, what are you saving the driveway for?
Now, see, because we have a cabin that's on Donner, so
Yeah.
very close to Truckee, and
Sure.
ever the roads weren't paved, and the roads are now paved, but our driveway, shall we call it, it's not paved.
Right.
But my mother never understood this. She loves raking pine needles.
Uh-huh.
I hated it as a kid. We have to rake the pine needles.
Oh gosh.
But she loves raking the pine needles. And so God bless her, 79, she goes up and she spends an hour or two raking those pine needles.
Oh boy.
So,
Doesn't jump in them, does she? Doesn't jump in them like
She-
when we rake the leaves.
no, they're pokey.
Yeah, they're too pokey.
Um,
That's right.
Yeah, no, they go straight in the bin. But yeah, you're right. There's just people that are not thinking. And unfortunately, in your area up there are way too many people coming from the Bay Area that don't
Yep.
have a clue.
No, but
And
they're
I hate to say it,
Yeah.
they're the tree huggers that don't want us cutting anything down.
Exactly.
And then it's all there to burn.
It's just
So-
and they think they're so far away. One time when I was up there on my deck, a guy was walking by with flip-flops and his shorts, smoking a cigarette outside. It's like, sir, excuse me, where are you from? Oh, the Bay Area. Are you leasing a cabin up? Yes. You're in the same state. This is still California. So if you have rules there and it's really dry about smoking, you can't smoke outdoors here. See all these trees, all these bushes. And he goes, oh, thank you. I mean, I thought he was going to just cuss me out and keep walking, but he honestly was like clueless. I think that, the atmosphere or the weather or something must have challenged him or something. It's made him forget where he was, like he was in heaven.
But
Well, yeah,
it's the altitude,
the altitude.
oxygen
Like,
deprived.
that's
Yeah.
good. I love that. Yes, I know. But anyway, it's just crazy. So we're all safe. I mean, we all survived. We must be here for a reason.
The next thing that we have to worry about, the electric cars, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And talking, with my husband with that, because they on their engines, because the engine is what carries the water when you look at the fire engines compared to the trucks that have the ladders.
Mm,
And water just doesn't put it out. So it's specific
Right.
chemical. It's
right.
like we don't have that to carry. And I mean, here in our area, it's all electric vehicles. And I have to say that I do have a hybrid.
Mhm.
Now, which is, saving me since May. I've only put gas in it, 3 or 4 times,
Sure.
but it's not a full EV. But I did think about that. I thought, well, and contributing and, that we can't recycle the batteries, but on a selfish note, I didn't want to pay for the gas.
I don't think the cars,
No.
especially the hybrids, are as bad as I think what worries me are the semis that they want to make those all electric. And I saw
Mm.
somewhere on a freeway that they were just letting this truck burn because it was gonna take like 6 or 8 hours for the battery to.
Well, that was here in California.
That's what I thought it was somewhere there. They just let it go. They couldn't do anything.
It was
with
between you and I think on
Yes.
80.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Well, we just have to be ever watchful. I mean, you
Mm.
can be wanting to save the earth, but on the other hand, you've got to be practical too,
yeah.
not
Well, and
especially
you know,
you
where
with the.
you are, Wendy, with a lot of the water, I think a couple years ago, that was a big problem that some of these EVs did have, ignition as far as they did catch fire because of whatever was going on. And there was really not anything they could do but just let them sit in the water and burn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That can't be good for the
So
ocean either,
I've seen a couple of
no,
videos
it can't.
from, security cameras in people's
Mhm.
rooms while we've had this hurricane. So
Uh,
such injury, their house burns down, 'cause
oh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I know. It's you think way back in the day, the pioneers, if they saw where we are now, they'd be like, wow, this is crazy. Oh, I wish I had this for my
Yeah.
kitchen. But on the
Yeah.
other hand, sometimes I'd like to go back to the simpler,
I know.
or was it simpler? It was
Seems
harder
so-
because you had
it was
to,
harder to live, but much more in tune with nature, maybe, I don't know.
yeah.
I just think
You gotta go.
I don't want to be on my cell phone all the time. The cell phone all the time.
Yeah, I agree, Wendy. I agree. But that's how we all communicate now and how we learn about everything,
my business that way, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Are you working doTERRA as a business? Are you?
Well, not really so much just because, I'm so busy at school. But I have a lot of, like, you popped up with the deep blue stick, and I thought, oh yeah, my friend has that, because I do have a few people at work that do have, doTERRA products. And she texted me the other day and she goes, oh my gosh, my knees are killing me. Do you have that? And I'm like, yes. And it's been about a week or two. And she has a tendency to borrow things and I never see it again. So I'm like, I need to say something tomorrow to get my stick back. And I know she has sticks. And I said, they're not that expensive. I have one in my desk. I have one in my car. I have a couple strewn around the house. It's the same with all of the new sun products. I have those all over the place. So
Mhm.
it's there when I need it. But so I do inform people about the doTERRA, but as far as sitting down and really doing it as a business, I just am not right now. My plan is to retire. I say I'm retiring early because in my school district, I have to get to age 55 to get my benefits.
Mm.
That's in 4 years. So I figure they owe me 100% lifetime benefits for everything I've done in the district. And then I will head out to the Tennessee area. I bought a condo there about 2 years ago that my daughter lives in. So I do have somewhere to stay. And I figured that that's when I can put more effort into, more time and more effort, because I have these great thoughts, but then I get home and I'm like, I need to eat, I need to feed the animals, shower, go to bed. And so, it's just then I'm like, darn it, I forgot to just post something simple for people to look at and read on their own and ask questions if they wanted to. But I definitely feel I'll put more effort into it when it'll be my new career when I'm done with the teaching.
Well, it'll be here for you when you're ready.
That's right. And it's a full-time job, isn't it, Wendy? As you well know, it is
I've
when you're serious about it.
to it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, but I like to create presentations and handouts, and I like to do all that stuff.
Well, you are appreciated, believe me, very much appreciated. So thank you for everything and all the science and all of the little hacks. I'm very excited about this particular package. I can't wait to see if it's available on the 1st.
Well, you've
I'm
always been
jumping in.
enthusiastic customer. I've told people it doesn't matter what I'm selling. Barbara's there.
He pays me well. No, no, I
Oh,
get it
funny.
back.
Yeah,
I get it back. I really do.
I'm gonna try the roller that you said for the nerve pain because my mom was complaining about her feet and she says, "Oh, it's my neuropathy pain." So I'm gonna do that and give it to her, and
Let me know what she thinks because
I will. And I think a lot of it is, my father just had open heart surgery Tuesday, and it was
Oh,
supposed to be the week before, but they had an emergency. So those extra 6 days, just the amount of stress,
mhm.
on my parents was, I mean, I was stressed, so I can imagine where they were at. But I mean, guy's 80 years old and he came home Friday and he's doing absolutely great. So I think
Aw.
she's finally kind of letting down, and that's when the fatigue and all the everything really hits you.
Mhm.
So she was telling me today about it.
yeah. Well, let me know what her experience is because I think
I will.
really hard thing for even doctors to try to manage for their patients.
Mhm.
I was thrilled when she told me that she thought it was working. She did use it initially with the deep blue stick, and now she just uses.
Well, and they have one of those that my dad, luckily he's Mr. It's not gonna work. And I said, just try it. And he actually, and it was even before the stick that he went through the roller.
Mm.
And he goes, yeah, I've used it all. And I'm like, oh, you actually. So he goes, either it's psychological, thank you, Father, or it's really working. And I said, I think that it's really working. So then the deep blue stick they have now, because I think for my dad it's a little bit easier because he's not getting things on his
Yeah.
hands by trying to get in places. So
Yeah.
I'll tell her to kind of try both, but then maybe wean off the deep blue and see how the other's working on its own.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that roller ball too and give it to my brother-in-law. He's the one who has neuropathy because he had surgery on that leg when he had the cancer and then he broke the bone and it's just been, cutting through all those nerves. Oh my gosh, So, yeah, I mean, he's very open. He's very open to natural things.
Right. Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of people they struggle. Like my cousin, she goes, "Ugh, it's not backed by science." She's an attorney, and I looked around and I go, "Well, let me tell you,
Mm.
it is." So she had to eat her words.
How
I
would
was
she
happy about that.
that though, but without even knowing? I mean, I would think she'd say, being an attorney, is this backed by science? Not, oh, this is not even backed by science. Like, why would you say that? How did you
Well,
bring that
that's
up?
you'd have to know my cousin and her personality. She's
Oh, we all
a
have
tough
those.
one to be around sometimes because my goodness, you can't say anything without her telling you how wrong you are.
Oh,
Even if
God.
I were to say I have a headache, she would tell me I was wrong.
Good luck.
You're not in my head.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
so
funny.
I was like, well, let me tell you, it is.
Let me
So
say this about that. Well, this was wonderful. I enjoyed talking with both of you. So I'm
Very nice.
excited.
You both. Yeah, I adore you both.
yeah, I'll let you know how it goes. The roller bottle goes with my mom.
I really am curious about that, so let me know, okay? All
I
right.
will.
Have a
Okay,
Well, thank you very
ladies.
much.
Have a-
Stay safe and dry out there,
Yes,
Wendy.
Wendy.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Take care.